Okay. So the recording is live now. Kindly confirm that you can hear me clearly and that you can see my slide. Anyone, please?
We can
Yeah,
hear you.
I can hear
Yes,
you.
and
See
see your story.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for that confirmation. So, and can you also see my slide?
Yeah, affirmative.
Awesome. 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 Thank you for that confirmation as well. So welcome to today's webinar once again. This is Dynamics User Group Lagos and Lagos Dynamics User Group, or DUG for short. It's a community or a meetup, right? I mean, DUG Lagos is a community or a meetup under the big Dynamics User Group. And so quickly, I'll just be introducing the Dynamics User Group to you, briefly. So DUG, we build community and we also encourage connection and likewise empower knowledge sharing and education, right? So DUG actually started, I mentioned that DUG is Dynamics User Group. It started in 1995, right, as an online forum where people, have discussions as to, okay, we have challenges and we engage together to solve, whatever issues that we may have, maybe at work or, while we are practicing, right? And this forum or this platform is there to help every individual who is interested to grow and also to learn and perhaps also to share their experience and knowledge with others, right? So it began as an online discussion forum, like I mentioned, and but since then it has actually expanded, to several countries within the globe. So DUG is not just in Nigeria, right? And it didn't even start from Nigeria. So we have other DUG meetups across different countries of the world. We have one in Nigeria here, like we have currently here in Lagos. We have in Ghana, we have in Kenya, we have in the US, we have, in a lot of places. And this community, actually, this big body, that is DUG, is a free community for users, implementers, developers, consultants, resellers, ISVs, or enthusiasts, right? If you are just looking to learn new technology and you want to know about, Dynamics 365 or Power Platform, that's when I say Dynamics 365 now, I'm talking of everything under this suite of application, including Business Central, uh, the customer engagement, the finance and operations, Dynamics GP, and also Power Platform, including Power Apps, Power BI, in fact, even up to AI and Copilot. So this is what this community actually, entails. Like it houses everyone who is interested and also a user, a consultant, or whatever you may be. But as far as you are engaging or you wish to engage with any of these products, you are welcome to joining the community. The community is a free community to join, like I mentioned, and then you are not expected to pay a dime to anyone. So currently we have over 47,000 community members across the globe. We have over 47,000 members across the globe. And meetups are places where we, we meet to discuss trending matters, share knowledge, and also, look at how we can solve problems together, right? And we are encouraging everyone who is a member of this community to actually participate in whatever way that you can, to help the community to grow, right? So your time is valuable, and we really want to acknowledge your being here as well, right? We also require that everybody should be, yeah, sorry, I'm distracted. So everybody should, be respectful and engage each other, with respect and, every cordial relationship, right? So then on the Dynamics User Group, we have different programs that we actually carry out, right? I've mentioned some of the some of the applications that we deal with. So these are some of them. As you can see, we have Business Central, the finance and operation and supply chain, Dynamics GP, customer engagement, or some still know it as CRM, right? And then we also have Power Platform, which includes all the Power, apps, Power Automate, and the rest. And also we have the AI. So I mentioned also that we have different programs that we carry out within DUG. So we have different online forums where we discuss as well. We have virtual year-round product content, which we also have in form of webinars. We have team ups, which is solutions and services from ISVs and partners. We have DUG local meetups, which this one that something like this one that we are currently having, which is a DUG local meetup, right? And then we have DUG conferences, and especially the one that is coming up in May. I'm going to talk about it very soon. We have another one called DUG Regionals, so which is what combines several other local meetups across within the same region. Say, for example, we have the Africa region, right? And then several other regions like that. So every DUG local meetups that are under Africa combines together to make a regional meetup, right? And then we have our YouTube channel, we have the general YouTube channel, and also likewise, we as DUG Lagos, we have our own YouTube channel. And just to mention as well, we have a WhatsApp group for everyone to join in. So in case after this webinar or whatever session or meetup that we have, you want to, do have a follow-up of questions or engagements, or, we also want to share some information with you guys. So you are encouraged to also join the WhatsApp group, right? Then moving on to this QR code, which is something you can fill, and then it's a form that you can fill to stay updated concerning our upcoming events. So I'm going to just leave this for about 4 or 5 seconds to allow those that want to scan this QR code to do so. And and then I'll move on from there. So this is the QR code. You can scan it and then fill up the form, and you'll be getting updates concerning upcoming events from DUG. Then this is a big deal, DynamicsCon 2026. So DynamicsCon is a DUG conference, right? That brings all DUG local meetups together, including all regionals, right? It brings every one of us together. And this year's own is happening in Las Vegas. It's happening between the 12th to 15th of May, 2026. So DynamicsCon is happening in Las Vegas, and we are all encouraged also to, participate in this. It's a physical event, right? So if you are interested in joining or in, going for this event, kindly reach out to us. You can reach out to us via WhatsApp, or you can also, make your interest known, after the call, right? So you can also scan this QR code to, get started. And then we also have the DynamicsCon regionals. So I mentioned likewise earlier that we have so much regionals that combines several local meetup groups together. So we have the one in Tampa, which is happening in Southeast January 14. For Pacific, we have March 20 in Vancouver. Then we have for Denver, which is Rocky Mountain, April 9. We have in Toronto, that is June 2026. And then we have the one for Africa, which is Accra, Ghana. This one concerns us because this is our regional meetup. So for those who are interested in joining us for this Ghana meetup, we were in Ghana last year. So the meetup also is happening again in Ghana this year. So if you joined last year, you are going to, really have a very fantastic testimony concerning our trip to Ghana last year. Everything was really fun, educative, informative, and there's a lot of connections that were made. last year. So we'll be doing the same thing and even more this year by July 2020, July 25, 2026. So for those that are interested in joining, kindly signify show your interest on the WhatsApp group, or you can also message us privately. You can message me privately, and so we can, bring you into the group for the planning, and then so we can share all other informations with you as we are progressing to, the day of the event itself, right? So please don't hesitate to join us. We encourage that every one of you join us for this event. And that's it for the brief introduction about Dynamics User Group. This is once again Dynamics User Group Lagos, and you are all welcome to today's webinar. For today's webinar, right, let me do some brief introduction as well, and then I'll introduce some of our leaders in DUG Lagos, Nigeria. So, and then I will then move on to introducing our guest speaker for today, right? So on the call today, we have myself. My name is Busari Sharif, and I am the lead for DUG Lagos. We have Timileyin Oluborode, who is the assistant lead as well. We have Joan Nachuku, who is our social lead. All right. We have Oluwafemi Dada, who is our events lead, and then we have Oluwatosin Adepoju, who is also social lead. Yeah. So thank you so much, everyone. So these are some of the faces that we have who are actually behind, the success of this meetup group. And today, I have the honor of introducing our special uh, guest speaker. She's very vast, right? She's a chartered accountant. She's a Microsoft certified Dynamics 365 Business Central functional consultant, right? She brings a unique blend of finance and technology expertise to the ERP implementations across industries such as education, IT, manufacturing, real estate, and oil and gas service, right? So she also managed user training. I have seen some of her trainings before myself, right? She's also into data migration, payroll setups, UAT, and project management to deliver solutions that streamline operations and enhance financial transparency. She specializes in transforming complex business requirements into actionable technology-driven solutions aligned with strategic goals, right? Ultimately, she drives efficiency and meaningful business outcomes. So join me this morning as I welcome Balikis Bakari to take us through today's webinar. And the topic of our webinar today is mastering the order to cash process in Business Central. So you are welcome, Bakari Bilikis. So can I get some, clapping for Bakari Bilikis as she unmutes her mic?
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. And good afternoon, Mr. Sheriff. And thanks for this opportunity you've given to me. I see the good work the Dynamics User Group is doing, and I must confess it's very, very commendable. Right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you
So I'm going
for
to
agreeing
share.
to take us today.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to share my screen in a few seconds. Let me know when you can see it. Can anyone or everyone see my screen?
Yes, I can see your
Yes, we
screen.
can see your screen.
Okay, so just as Mr. Sharif has said, today's session is going to be about the order to cash process, which is we also know as the sales module in Dynamics 365 Business Central, right? I know there are so many people that say they know about order to cash process, can be a very seamless process. And there are also organizations that struggle a lot with this particular process. And why do some of these companies struggle? It could be that they have issues with matching their invoices with their shipments, or they're unable to track their customers' credit limits, or maybe their finance team even struggle with reconciliation, right? So we're going to be looking at how to avoid some of these issues and how to better manage the order to cash process in Dynamics Business Central. So O2C is not just about sales, it's actually a financial control process. Yeah. So our outline for today is this. We'll look at the overview of order to cash process, what the flow chart looks like. Would also explore a case study, do some demonstration in Dynamics Business Central, and would review some real implementation pitfalls and what are the quick wins that consultants can actually explore during the implementation process, right? So what's order to cash process? Order to cash covers everything there has to do with satisfying the customer need up to the point of receiving and recording payments. And this process does not just sit with one department or one functional area within an organization. It connects different departments, connects sales, finance, operations, and customer service into one continuous flow. And just like we know for ERP is there to connect different functional business processes, right? It brings that integration among the different departments within an organization. Once a salesperson or a sales order processor is processing a document, the finance team or the finance personnel should also have an idea of what is going on in the sales team without having to move between offices or having to send emails, right? So there's this connection between the different departments. And why does this even matter to us? Why does it matter in the office space or even in businesses? Why do they think this process is relevant? It has a direct impact on their cash flow. If you do not monitor your order to cash process very well, there's going to be issues with monitoring your cash flows, right? It also impacts revenue accuracy and it affects how you satisfy your customer. So before I move on to the next slide, do we have anyone who currently does functions that relate to order to cash and would like to share any of their pitfalls they encounter doing their day-to-day activities? Is there anyone that is going to volunteer to speak? Do you engage in order to cash process and do you encounter any pitfall during the process? Because I always like my sessions to be very interactive. I don't like being the only one doing the talking, right? So I want to be sure we're together and we're also trying to learn from each other. Okay. Someone trying to help us. Okay, maybe I should even start by knowing the dynamics of the people on this call. Can we drop on the charts our current role, what our current role is? Are we ERP guys? Are we finance people? Are we just tech enthusiasts? What are we? I think that would also help me with channeling my questions. Kindly respond in the chat. Thank you. Okay, I can see Victor saying he's a Power Platform developer. Okay. We have about 2 minutes more to do this before I continue. Thank you. Okay, you can see Mo is an ELP person, but works with ELP as feed system. Wow, that's interesting. Oluwatosi is a Power Platform developer. Yusuf is a VC functional consultant. Kikelomo functional business central consultant. Okay.
Mine is EPM, not ERP. So I use EPM.
EPM.
Yeah,
Okay.
enterprise planning management. So it's just like you have OneStream, you have Hyperion. So those are the EPM. So we have the feed system like in Microsoft Business Central that feed data into EPM for budgeting and financial consolidation.
Wow. That's nice. And I'm hearing about that for the first time. Thanks for the explanation. Okay, so I think I have people with understanding of what ERP is about, and also people that do not really know what this is. So I think this should also guide me with how I'm going to tailor my explanation so that we don't just feel like we're in the wrong place. Okay. All right. So we'll look at what this order to cash process is all about in a high level, right? But let's look at what a or an order to cash process flow chart can look like. This is not a standard flow. Like I always say whenever I use this, it's not a standard flow for all organizations. In some organizations, the flows are just 5 or 6 activities and it ends there. While in some organizations, it's even more robust than what you're seeing currently on my screen, right? But let me explain what I have here. So according to what I have here, the flow starts from here, where a customer makes inquiry about a product or a service. And someone has to pick up that customer's request or inquiry, which in most cases is going to be either a salesperson or a customer service representative, whichever works for the organization that is going to be using the software, right? The salesperson checks the real-time inventory availability. Yes, in Business Central, you can easily check if an item is available before you go ahead to process a customer's order, right? If the inventory is available, the salesperson go ahead to prepare the sales codes and send the sales codes to the customer that has made inquiry. What happens if the inventory is not available? In some organization, if an inventory is not available, they move on to the stage where they have to procure the item, right? They procure the item, and there are different ways by which they can start their procurement process. But because this session is just strictly for sales, I'll just stop at this point where we have the initiation of purchase requisition. And just to ensure that the customer is not just kept in the dark, it's always required for them to notify the customer as to whether there's going to be delay in delivery of the item, right? So once this inventory is available, the salesperson prepares the sales code, send the sales code to customer. If the customer is satisfied with it, he or she approves it. Once it is approved, then it moves on to the next stage, where the salesperson converts this sales code to a sales order. Now the question is, what's the difference between the sales code and the sales order? At this point where the sales code is being prepared and sent to a customer, there is no contractual agreement between the customer and the company who is selling this product. The customer has to agree first before you can say, yes, we have a contract. We have a binding agreement to render service to you or deliver a product to you. So there's no financial obligation at this point of generating a sales quote, right? The customer can decide to decline and say, I'm not okay with your prices. I don't want to purchase from you anymore. I would purchase from another vendor, right? But if the customer is fine with the sales quote and the details of the sales quotes, then the salesperson can go ahead to create a sales order. This sales order will also be sent to the customer for confirmation and payments. So this can be done in two ways. In some organizations, they require their customers to make payments in advance before goods are shipped or delivered. While in some organizations, they deliver the goods first before payment is requested. So, like I said, this is not a standard process and it can always be adjusted to suit a company's business process or requirement, right? So yeah, I'm assuming that the sales code is sent to a customer for confirmation and payment. The customer makes payments via different payment method, and once the payment is confirmed, a receipt is generated and issued to this customer. Afterwards, stock is allocated. In some organization, stock is not allocated by the salesperson, but rather by the warehouse manager or store manager who is in charge of the stocks. While in some organization, just one person is in charge of everything. So if you're going to be an ERP person or an ERP consultant, you need to also understand the flow of the organization you'll be setting up Business Central for, right? So after the stock is allocated, the finance team prepares and posts an invoice. The inventory balance is automatically updated because you're using an ERP. It is expected that whatever is going on within the connected functions or business processes updates in real time, right? So once the invoice is posted, item has been shipped, it is expected that the inventory balance is updated automatically, right? These goods are now prepared and pick up or also delivered to the customer. After it is delivered, then it is assumed that this process has ended, right? There's nothing more to do unless you want to start engaging our customer just to have good communication, relationship, and all of that, right? So, before I demonstrate what this process looks like in Business Central, I want us to look at this case study, right? A company whose name is this, Bright Sales Technologies Limited. It's a medium-sized company that sells IT equipment and accessories to corporate customers. When we say corporate customers, we mean corporate organizations, right? So this company, their focus is to sell IT equipment and accessories to only companies. And the company operates on both credit and cash sales. And they use Dynamics Business Central to manage their sales and receivables processes, right? The management of Brighter's technology want a structured approach to handling its customer orders, invoicing, returns, cash collections, which in this case I mean payments, as well as sales reporting. Alpha Consulting Limited, a corporate customer to Bright, now request a quotation for 10 laptop computers and 5 network routers. The sales officer prepares and sends a sales code in Dynamics Business Central, which this customer accepts without changes. Now, based on what we saw on our flow, we said our sales process starts with a customer making inquiry about a product, right? After the inquiry was made, salesperson decided to Alpha Consulting Limited is trying to request for you. Alpha Consulting Limited has reached out to Bright IT service, requesting for a quotation for what they would like to purchase from them. They want to purchase 10 laptop computers and 5 network routers. The sales officer prepares and sends the sales codes in Dynamics Business Central, which the customer accepts without changes. We also said the customer can decide to either reject or accept these sales codes because at that point, there are no financial implications, right? We're just trying to look at what the customer is requesting and how much we are willing to sell to this customer. The quote is then converted into a sales order after confirming the customer's credit limits and item availability. Remember we said Bright Technologies operate on both credit and cash sales. So it could be that they have been transacting with this organization, this is their customer for a while, and they can decide to have a credit limit for this customer. You can also decide to say, no, for this particular customer, I don't want to give it a credit limit. I don't want to sell to them on credits. Every of my transaction should be on cash basis. Now, the quote is converted into a sales order after confirming the customer's credit limits and item availability. The warehouse delivers all 5 routers and 8 out of the 10 laptops that was requested. With the remaining laptops back ordered, and the sales shipment is posted for the delivered items. But what happens after shipment, right? An invoice is raised only for the items delivered, and the sales invoice is posted in the system. You would also notice that for this particular company that they decide to sell to, they did not request for payments before shipping the item. Remember I said my sales process flow is not standard. It's vary by organization. In their own organization, making payment before delivering of item is not compulsory, right? And that is why they have decided to ship this item before even posting an invoice and accounting for whatever money they're going to be receiving from the customer. But something happened after delivery. After delivery to this customer, even before making payments, the customer returns one faulty router, prompting the accounts officer to issue a sales credit memo to reverse the related revenue and update the customer's balance. We'll be talking about a sales officer attending to this customer. Now someone else is taking charge. It's the account officer. This account officer was the one that processed the sales invoice. And now this account officer also needs to account for the returns that this customer has made for the faulty router, right? So you can see the connection between the different functions within an organization when it comes to the order to cash process. It's not just the duty of one function, the duty of one department, right? Alpha Consulting Limited, who is the customer, then makes a partial payment via bank transfer, which is recorded and applied to the invoice using the cash receipts journal. Management later regenerates sales and receivables reports to review total monthly sales, outstanding customer balances, and overdue invoice. What are we able to pick from this case study? And what do you think we would need to do on Business Central to make all of this a success? I would like to hear our contributions. What do we think about the case study? Do you think it covers everything the order to cash process entails? Do you think we can handle it with an ERP software, which in this case is Business Central? What's happening? I'm waiting for comments on the chat. Thank you. You can see someone is typing already.
You can also unmute your mic and speak
And speak, yeah.
to let us know your comments. Thank you.
Okay, I can see a comment from Mr. Yusuf saying, yes, the RPBC can handle this process from start to end. Okay, so let's see if it's going to be possible. I'm going to be showing you what the Business Central environment looks like. So I don't know if you're someone who has never seen what the Business Central environment looks like. Here, this is it. It's a very, I don't know. I like the interface of the ERP because it's very user friendly. It has a nice graphics. You can actually get so many meaningful information right from the dashboard, and even without processing any data. Right? You don't need to be a data entry person. You don't need to be a sales order processor or a finance person before you get meaningful insights from the Business Central dashboard. Right? Can everyone see my Business Central screen, or you're still seeing the same screen?
Yes,
can
I
see your
have this
business
in
central.
my end. So,
All right, thank you. So this is what our dashboard looks like here in Business Central. And one um, special thing about Business Central is that whatever a user is going to see is dependent on the user role. What a sales order processor is going to see on the screen is different from what a project manager is going to see on the Business Central dashboard. It's different from what a warehouse manager is going to see. It's also different from what a service manager is going to see. And so it is tailored to different roles of users within an organization. So yeah, I'm logged in as a business manager, and what you can see, I can see um, activities that relate to different functions across the business process, right? I can see finance, I can see cash management, sales, because I have logged in as a business manager. If I had logged in as a sales order processor, you'd see something different. You can see, you notice the difference on my dashboard. I can now see information that relates to me as a salesperson, right? I can see information that has to do with my sales, my shipped or not invoiced documents, my items, because I'm a salesperson, I need to have an idea of the items I'm going to be selling to my customers. I need to know what my customer list entails, the kind of customers I'm going to be dealing with. Since we know that in my organization, the only kind of customers we deal with, they are also business organizations, right? So for me, I should be able to see the business organizations I'm going to be dealing with as a salesperson, right? Also for my dashboard, I can see various insights about my daily activities as a salesperson. From here, my dashboard is saying I currently have sales quotes open, 18 sales quotes open. Even before doing anything, I just open my dashboard today and it's giving me this insight. What is happening? Why do I have so many open sales quotes? Why have I not converted the sales quote to sales order? So this gives the salesperson insight about what they are doing on a daily basis. It also helps them to make meaningful business decisions, right? So if I should click on this, it takes me to the list of all of my sales codes without stressing out, right? I don't need to go to the search icon to start searching sales codes. From here, I can quickly have an overview of what is going on within my department, right? So there are so many other cues on the dashboard that are very, very important and informative. But let's go straight to what really concerns us today, processing of the order to cash processing Dynamics Business Central. And we're going to be doing what we have on our case study. So we are going to be processing a sales code, convert the sales code to a sales order, process the invoice, deal with the return, and also process the payment part of this transaction. And the customer here is Alpha Consulting Limited, right? This customer has requested for 10 laptops and 5 routers. For my dashboard, as a salesperson, the first thing for me to do is to ensure that this customer already exists on the system. I cannot process a sales document for a customer that does not exist, right? So I can see that we have Alpha Consulting Limited already. The next thing is for me to start my sales document preparation, and which is going to start from the sales quote. Under my sales tab here, I have so many documents that relate to sales. You can see sales quote, sales order, sales invoice, blanket sales order, and the rest. But according to our sales case study, we're going to be starting with the sales quote. Currently, you can see the list of all existing sales quote I have on the system. And just from my screen, I can also get insights as to what has been processed on each of these sales quotes. If I click the next line, this statistic is also updated, even without opening the card. Well, let's create a new one for Alpha Consulting Limited. This is what a blank sales quote looks like. It requires you to specify the customer you're going to be transacting with. All relevant information from the customer card will be populated automatically. You can now add other transaction details you would like to have on the sales quote. While on the line section, this is where you specify the product or service that this customer has made inquiry about, right? You can also give some other details that would guide the sales process. Right. Well, let's start with selecting the customer. Yeah, I have my customer as Alpha Consulting Limited. You notice that immediately I selected Alpha Consulting Limited, the country code on the customer card came up automatically, the contact number. Even on the customer card, I also have the customer's address, phone number, email address. All of those information will also be populated automatically. I don't need to enter them manually. But which other information can I enter manually? First is going to be the order dates, right? Or the document dates. I'm processing this today. I don't want to use a later date. And I assume that my order might also be prepared today. You would also notice we have another date here. This is due date. And I did not enter this manually. It was populated automatically. How was the system able to determine the due date for me, even without me entering it? It means there's a setup that has been done on the customer card that shows that this customer's sales transaction will be due in, I think, a month's time, according to what I'm seeing here. In my document date is today's date, which is 28th of February. And the due date for this sales document is 28th of March. It means the customer has a grace period of 1 month to make payments on this sales transaction, right? If I can start saying I want to charge interest, I want to charge finance cost and the rest. So we are seeing this information, we're seeing this date here because it was already specified on the customer card and the customer is entitled to such payment terms, right? We can also confirm by checking that information on the customer card. You can see this is customer card for Alpha Consulting Limited, and the payment terms is saying this customer can owe us money for 1 month and 8 days. And that is what the system has used to calculate the due dates we're seeing there. So now the next important information here is going to be the items this customer has made inquiry for. This customer said they are interested in purchasing 10 laptops and 5 routers. On Business Central, you can specify the different transaction type you want to process on the sales documents. Currently, because what I'm dealing with is item, I'll leave my sales transaction type as item. If what I want to process is, let's say, a service, I can decide to also use item as a service or use a GL account. But let's stick to what we have for today, which is item. And this also links me to my item list. The sales transaction type you select here determines what your number column is going to present to you. If what I have selected here is, let's say, fixed assets, number column is going to be linked to my fixed asset table. It shows me the list of fixed asset I can select from, right? But no, I want to deal with items, so I expect it to give me the list of all items I have on the system, and from which I'm going to pick what this customer has made inquiry for. The customer is interested in purchasing laptop and also purchasing router, right? This is the description of what I have selected. I can also decide to specify the location I'm going to be taking out this item from when this customer finally decides to purchase from us after the sales quote has been approved, right?
122.
Right, so I'm going to do this. This customer has requested for 10 laptops and 5 routers. Because it's a sales quote, I also have the ability to specify the price I would like to offer these items to the customer. I want to sell my laptop for 200,000 each and my router for 70,000. Immediately I put in the price. Business Central did something for me automatically. It multiplied the price by the quantity to get the amount. You can also use your calculator to confirm this, right? Same thing for my router. This customer is requesting for 5 router, and each of this router, I'm selling it for 70,000. Business Central has multiplied the quantity by the price to give me the amount, right? The total of these two is what I have under my total excluding VAT. Because the kind of item I'm selling to this customer also require me to charge VAT based on my country's policy, tax policy, right? This item is vatable. I was able to set up Business Central to tell it that whenever I'm selling this kind of item, please charge VAT of 7.5% for me. And that is why it has automatically calculated the VAT amount on the total line amounts for the two items. Right? So I have this. I can decide to now send this to my customer, Alpha Consulting Limited. From Business Central, you can send your document. You can also decide to print it. But because I'm not going to be sending, there's no email address on Alpha Consulting customer card. But let's preview, let's print, let's try to print just to have an idea of what this sales code is going to look like if we eventually send it to our customer. So this is the sales code in Business Central. It has the document name, the company names. Currently, I'm preparing this document with this company, Kronos International Limited. That's the name of the company I'm using for processing this transaction, right? You can see this is my document dates, the transaction details, what this customer has requested for, the unit price, the VAT rate, and the amount. You can see how detailed all of this is on the document the customer is going to be receiving from us. Now, I'm assuming this has been sent to the customer and the customer is ready to buy these items from us. I don't need to go ahead to create a sales order afresh. From my sales code screen, I can convert the sales code to a sales order or even a sales invoice. But now, most of the mistakes people make when they are using Business Central is not knowing which documents should be processed. If I'm selling items, the ideal thing is for me to convert the sales code to a sales order, not a sales invoice. And the reason is because before invoicing takes place, there has to be something that has to happen to the item. I have to ship it out of my inventory to reduce my inventory value before I process the invoice, right? But if what I'm selling to this customer is just a service, no item is involved, I can decide to convert this sales code directly to a sales invoice. But yeah, because item is involved, I'm going to be converting it. It moves automatically to sales order. I don't have to re-enter all of this information. So now the code has been converted and it's asking if I would like to see the sales order that was created for me. So you can see the new documents we're dealing with is the sales, shipments item. We're going to be reducing our inventory balance on the sales order documents. You'd also notice that every information I have on that sales code remains the same, including so this by way also reduces the amount of time that is spent preparing this sales document. I want you to also pay attention to what I have on my screen here. You can see what this customer initially requested for was 10 quantity of laptops and 5 router, right? But because something happened and we decided to just ship only 8 out of the laptops, based on what our case study was saying, that we end up shipping just 8 out of the 10 laptops that was initially requested for. I'm going to change my quantity to ship to 8. Okay. So this is quantity to ship. I have not shipped it. I have not posted the shipment. I intend to ship it. I'm here to do so, right? But at this point, I can now decide to change it to what is going to be shipped, which is it. Before I ship it, as a salesperson or whoever is processing the sales order, you also have the ability to determine if this particular item is available. It's something you should have even done from the sales quotes preparation. But if you forget to do it, just like I forgot to do mine, I can also confirm the availability of this item directly from my sales order. And how do I do that? I'll select the line for the item I want to confirm availability for, click on this line tab, and click item availability by location. Now to confirm if it's available in this main warehouse location I have selected. And from here, you would see that I have so many warehouses, right? But I currently have it under the main warehouse. And you have so many columns signifying so many information, right? So the major one I think you should pay attention to at this point is the inventory column. This is what shows you what is currently available in inventory. Right there, I have 95 of this particular item, laptop, in the main warehouse. I also have it as a gross requirement. It has been requested for in a particular document. If I click this, it should take me to that document. All right, it has been requested for in the sales document. And by the way, it's going to reduce my projected available balance. Okay, so I have the item available. I guess I also have the other one available. I'm going to go ahead to process shipment. I'm going to ship out 8 quantity of the laptops and the total 5 routers that was requested. And how do I process that shipment? I'll click on my post tab and click post. Now, because in some organization, there's a level of segregation of duties, the salesperson might not be seeing these 3 options. What the salesperson might only be seeing is just going to be the ship option, right? And that is because they don't want them to process the invoicing parts of this transaction. But in some organization, the salesperson does both the movement out of the inventory as well as the invoicing of the sales transaction. So yeah, I'm assuming I'm a salesperson. I'm not the account or finance person who is going to be posting the invoice. So as such, I'm going to be processing the shipments of this item. And shipments means you are reducing what you have in inventory and you are trying to send it to the customer who has requested for it. And the end result of that shipment is that you would have a shipment document created for you. So you notice that immediately I posted that shipment, something happened to my quantity to ship. For my laptop, it's saying I still have 2 quantity left for me to ship. And for my routers, I have nothing left to ship. You'd also notice that I now have some information under quantity shipped. The quantity shipped is what shows me what has actually been sent out of my inventory, right? I have 5 routers shipped and I have 8 laptops shipped. If I click on this, it's going to show me the shipment document that was generated for me automatically after I posted the shipment. You can also view the document from here. And this is what most times the salesperson or the warehouse person who is going to be releasing these documents uses as an evidence that they've delivered this item or they've shipped this item to the customer, right? This can also be printed and sent to the customer. So based on our case study, right, we decided to just move ahead with the 8 laptops. We did not ship the remaining 2. We just stick to the 8 laptops and 5 routers, and we are going to be invoicing this customer for only those quantities that we shipped. So now on my quantity to invoice column, it shows me what I can invoice this customer. It's still showing me 10. I can create an invoice for 10 laptops and 5 router. But let's see if it's going to allow us to do that for 10 laptops, despite the fact that we only shipped 8. Going to post this, posting the invoice part of it, So you would also notice that because I only shipped 8, even though I did not change my quantity to invoice before posting invoice, the system did not still invoice the customer for 10 quantity. So it believes that if I have not shipped it, why am I invoicing it? If I have not shipped the additional 2, why do I want to post invoice for the additional 2? So automatically it only invoiced the customer for the 8 quantity that was shipped. Now, what's the financial implication of what I've done? If I check the customer's ledger, which is what shows the summary of our transaction with this customer over time, I would only see that the invoice that was posted for this customer transaction is just for the 8 quantity, not the 10 that was initially requested for. Let's see that. I'm going to go to the customer card. This is Alpha Consulting customer card. I'm going to go straight to where we have the ledger entries. Remember I said the ledger entries is what shows us the summary of our transaction with our customers over time, be it invoicing, payments, and the rest. So there's a difference between invoicing the customer and posting the payments you receive from the customer, right? So I have processed one invoice before now, and you notice that between these two invoices, one is in red. It is in red because it is currently due for payment, but it has not been paid for. But this is the one we have just processed. And based on the payment term that this customer has, the due date for this new invoice is still next month, March, 28th of March. That is why we don't have it in red. You'd also notice that the amount here differs from what you saw on the invoice initially. It differs because we reduced the quantity we invoice this customer for, the laptops. Did anyone notice the difference in the amounts?
Yes, I
Did
do.
we notice any difference? Yeah. All right.
Yes.
All right. So our case study also said something. It said, I think it's here, next page. So after delivery, the customer returns one faulty router. After we've delivered 5, we delivered 5 routers and 8 laptops. Now, after we delivered it, something happened, right? The customer returned one of the router. They claim that it's faulty, prompting the account officer who has processed that sales invoice to now issue a sales credit memo. What the sales credit memo does in Business Central is to help you make adjustment to your initially posted sales invoice, right? And it's going to reverse whatever was posted before. So the account officer is going to do this and also update the customer balance automatically. Let's see how that works in Business Central. I have my posted sales invoice and check for what I have posted for this particular customer, Alpha Consulting Limited. So I have so many. I guess this is the recent one I posted. We can open it to confirm. Okay, so this was the invoice we posted for Alpha Consulting Limited. We posted this for 8 quantity of laptops and 5 router. But now Alpha Consulting reached out to us saying one of the routers is faulty, and we have decided to reduce the amount of money we expect to receive from Alpha Consulting. And the method by which we're going to do this is by processing a sales credit memo, right? Which is going to help us do that adjustment. And there are 2 ways to do this. It's either you create your credit memo directly from your posted sales invoice screen, or you create it in a plain document and try to assign the shipment line you want to reverse. But I'm going to use just one method here because of our time. We have limited time here. So how do I correct this posted sales invoice? I'm going to click on this correct tab. There's a drop down in front of it, and I'll click create corrective credits memo. So what this is going to do for me is that it's going to help me return the one quantity of that router back to my inventory. It's also going to help me correct the amount of money I was initially expecting from this customer. It's asking if I want to go ahead with this process. Yes. So now you can see I don't have to create all of these documents at first because they are connected, right? Just within a few seconds, I was able to create a credit memo directly from a posted sales invoice. But now there's something I need to do. The system assumes that I'm trying to make correction for everything I have on that invoice because I have created it from the invoice. But that's not the case. The correction should just be for router and not just all of the quantity now, just one quantity. So I have that flexibility of making adjustments on the credit memo page before I post it. I'm going to delete the line for the laptop because I'm not returning the laptop. What is returned is just the router and it's one quantity of this router. So I think what I would also like to show you is the entries for the posted invoice and what we're going to see when we end up posting the credit memo. So let me take you back there. When I posted the sales invoice, there were some implications on my ledgers for the finance people in the house. They will understand. There were some implications on my GL account and all of that. Let's see what those entries look like. So we have it here, find entries. So I had 7 GL entries created for me. Let me arrange this so I can explain better. So this is the total amount that went to the customer's account. This is what we're expecting from the customer when we posted the invoice, right? This amount was for the tax, the VAT that was charged, and this amount is our actual revenue. It's not the total money we're expecting that belongs to us. Part of this total money that we're expecting is going to be paid out as tax to the government, right? So what belongs to my company or to Bright Consulting or Bright IT service is just 1950. So now that I'm posting a credit memo, I expect that this my revenue, my sales revenue of 1950 should be reduced by the amount of that single router that is returned. Same thing for the VAT I'm going to be paying to the government. It should also be reduced, right? So yeah, I'm having a credit. Let me go back there. So this is saying I have a minus value to my sales, a minus value to my VAT or my tax, and a positive value to my customer. By the time I process a credit memo, I should see the reverse of this transaction. What I should see going to the customer's account now should be a negative because I'm trying to reduce what this customer is owing me. What I should see going to my VAT should also be a reverse. What I should see going to my revenue should also be a reverse. So let's see what we have. I'm going to post the credit memo now. And before I post, Business Central also allows me to see the impact of what I'm about to do, even before doing it. I can preview my posting entries before posting it. That's another very key functionality in Business Central. Before posting, I can see what is going to happen if I eventually post. So it's saying if I should go ahead to post this document, this will be the entries that will be generated for me. So you can see, initially when I posted the invoice, my customer's account was having a positive value. But now that I'm posting a credit memo, my customer's account is going to be reduced. It's going to be having a negative value because I'm trying to reduce what I'm expecting to receive from the customer. I hope that makes sense. Does it make sense to us?
Yes, it does. It does make sense.
All right. So same thing for my VAT. It's going to be showing a positive as against what we saw when we posted the initial invoice, as well as our revenue. It's going to show a positive figure. So yes, I'm going to go ahead to post this. And when I go back to my customer ledger entry, I should also see the impact on what I expect to receive from this customer. I've posted the credit memo, right? So let's see what our customer ledger entry is showing. So customer and ledger entries. So you can see we now have a credit memo. And what has this credit memo done to our invoice? Remember, the total invoice amount or the original amount for the invoice was 2,096,250. But now the remaining amount for this invoice has changed. It has reduced. And why did it reduce? So because we posted a credit memo that was linked to the invoice. So that credit memo has reduced what we're expecting to receive from this customer, right? And now my case study also said when it was time for me to receive money, Alpha Consulting Limited decided to also make partial payments. They did not make payments in full. And that's because our agreement is that we give them a due date of 1 month period. But now they decided to even making partial payments as at today. We're going to see how that works in Business Central. So for our customer payments, we use what we call the cash receipt journal to process it. I have that on the okay, because it's not a sales order processor function, it's mostly done by the finance people. That's why I'm not seeing it on my dashboard, but I'm going to search for it here. Cash receipt journal. This is what the cash receipt journal looks like. You can see we have them in a different format compared to what you were seeing for our sales documents and the rest. So yeah, you can put in all relevant information for whatever you want to post here. I'm going to start with putting in the correct date for this payment, right? Document number is going to be like a unique identifier of the transaction you're trying to post. In some cases, you have them by default. And in some instances, you have to enter it yourself, enter your unique identifier yourself, depending on what has been set up for an organization that is going to be making use of Business Central for processing their transaction. Now, account type. Yeah, I'm trying to post transaction between my customer and let's say my cash account or my bank account. This customer has made payment to me, right? And I want to register that payment on the system. So yeah, my account type, I'm picking customer. Account number. Because my account type is customer, my account number is linked to the customer list page, where I can now select the customer I want to post this transaction payment for. If what I have selected here is bank accounts, my account number is going to show me the list of all of the banks I have currently on the system. But let's stick to what we want, customer. So which of our customer? I can type, if I know the name, I can also search. So now, by default, the description for this transaction is showing me the customer name. But Business Central gives you that flexibility of editing the description to something that is more meaningful to you. I can put this as partial payments received from Alpha Consulting. Can also expand this for you to see. So partial payments received from Alpha Consulting. This makes more sense than just seeing the customer name on my transaction entry later on, right? So now, how much has this customer paid? How much is this customer owing me? Had it been this customer has made full payments for the invoice, and I can't remember what this actual figure is, directly from this screen, I can apply the invoice that was initially posted on behalf of this customer, and it suggests the amount for me. How do I do that? I click on apply entries, and it shows me the list of all invoices I currently have for the customer. I have one, yeah, the one I have posted before now, and I have the one we posted for this transaction, which is this. How do I now apply it to this payment? I'll select the line for the one I want to apply, and I'll click Set Applies to ID. So it's saying you cannot apply and post an entry to an entry with an earlier posting date. Instead, post the document of type with. Okay, so let's confirm the. Okay, currently the posting date for this invoice was. Okay, it was March. This is 6th of March. What I have on my visit journal is today's date. Right, so it's saying I cannot apply that invoice to these dates. The invoice was backdated. So I have to use the correct date before I can apply. But that shouldn't be a challenge. There should be another method, right? We can post this payment here and go back to the customer ledger to apply the payment. And what application of payment to invoice does for you is that it reduces what the customer is owing you. So that by the time you start generating your reports in terms of what various customers are owing, you see the correct value the customer is owing you. So I'm going to post this using these dates and go to the customer ledger to apply. I'm going to assume this customer only paid 1 million out of the total amount we were expecting. According to our case study, the customer made partial payment. Now, so in finance or in accounting, there are always two ways to each transaction. There's always going to be a debit and a credit side of things, right? So if my customer balance is going to be affected, which other account has to be affected? In this case, it's going to be, I'm going to choose my bank, which I'm going to be using to receive this money. Before posting, I can also decide to preview posting to see the impact of my posting. So that if there's error, I can quickly correct it before I post. And what this does for me is that it also reduce the number of corrections I have to do or reversals I have to do after I've posted transaction. Right. So let's preview and see, just to confirm that what we're about to do is accurate. So this is saying if I eventually post this receipt journal, I'm going to have two GL entries, right? And what are the GL entries? I need to check if they are correct, if they are accurate, and if they are going to the correct account. So it's saying I'm going to be debiting my customer's account with 1 million, and I'm going to be crediting my bank. It's 1 million. This is very wrong. I'm not supposed to reduce my bank balance. I am supposed to increase my bank balance because I'm receiving money. And this is why preview posting is very useful. So what I should have done was to put a negative value here because I'm trying to reduce what this customer is owing me and also trying to increase what is going to my bank. Let's preview posting again and see what we now have. So these are the two entries again. So now you can see this is a credit to my customer, which makes sense. This is a reduction to what my customer is owing me, which now makes sense. And a positive figure to what my bank is going to be affected by. My bank balance is going to increase by this positive value. Do we agree with this? Is this better than what we saw before now? Or do we think the first one we saw is right?
No, I think this follows the
This is
standard
correct.
process.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead to post this
This is
and we'll
better.
see. Yeah, thank you very much.
No, I have a concern though.
Oh, go ahead. What's your concern?
Yeah, I was thinking the date you selected for the payments, and later give you a challenge when you want to, like you said, that you are going to apply the payment to the invoice.
Yeah,
I think
because the
the
invoice data has
invoice
a
date
later date
came. Yeah.
as March. Yeah, I expect that, but I want us to also see the impact of whatever we're doing. So let's see it
Excellent.
now.
Excellent.
It was intentional, right? So now let's see our customer ledger entries. So, but based on this arrangement, you see that the dates differs, right? That even drop below the posting dates for our invoice. Look what we have here. The remaining amount for this invoice is still this because we are unable to um, apply these payments to it. Now the question is, are we going to be able to apply it? Looking at this date that was used to post the payments. If I've posted the invoice today, how come my payment is coming a month earlier or a few days earlier? Yes, it happens, even in real life scenario. It happens a lot. But how do we even adjust this? Let's see if we can apply. This is my payment of 1 million. I want to try to apply it to the invoice amount I selected. I click on set applies to ID, right? And I'm going to click on post application. My posting dates, I'm going to use the correct date at this point. But let's see what happens if I decide to use the payment dates, which is 28th of February as against 3rd of June. Let's see, let's try to pay attention to the reaction of the system. As you can see, it's not allowing me to do this. It's saying the posting date entered must not be before the posting date on the customer ledger. So it has prevented me. It has prevented me from doing what I intend to do. But like I said, there should always be a way around this, right? I'm going to use the correct posting date at this point and see if it allows me. You can see our application is now successful, and we're able to apply that invoice to the customer's payment, which has also reduced the invoice amount for us. Right? You can see. So scenarios like this will always happen in real life, and we should also try to explore different ways by which we can tackle them. Right? So that's pretty much about the order to cash process I'll be showing you today. We can always have different scenarios and deal with them later on. So let me quickly go back to something I would like us to see. Most of the time when we implement this solution, this software for people or for companies, they complain because things were not done right. And the reason is not because the system is not functioning well. The issue is just because the order to cash process was not configured properly, right? And some of those cases or scenario happens where we have our invoice posted before shipment, and which leads to having misstatements in our revenue, or our customer exceeded their credit limit and we end up having bad debts, or our payments were not applied, and once the payment is not applied, our aged receivables or what we expect to receive from our customers start showing us inaccurate figures. So there are so many reasons why we have issues when we start making use of these ERPs. But what are the quick wins for us as consultants or as ERP users? If you're going to be processing order to cash process, please ensure that you validate your customer posting rules. I know I didn't talk so much about this because of our time. Enforce credit limits where necessary. Test partial payment scenarios and see the results of those scenarios. Try to simulate the order to cash process before you even take it to your customer, right? Try to be smart about things and make sure things are done correctly and perfectly. And also try to train the finance team on how to apply payments application so as to reduce inaccuracy with their receivables balances. So for me to round up this, I'll be saying this to you. For you to have a smooth order to cash process, it's not an accidental event. It's intentionally designed. And your configuration can only get you live if your process design keeps you successful. Right, that will be all for me, and thanks for having me today. Over to you, Mr. Sheriff.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Balikis. We really enjoyed your session. At least I do, and I believe that there are several others who do, because I can see, several claps that people are giving, and I think it was really a nice one. And thank you so much for, the thorough and well-detailed session, right? So we are going to be
Thanks for the kind words.
opening the yeah, so we are going to be opening the line for people to, come up with their questions, and also maybe their contributions also, right? So kindly use the raise hand action and then ask your questions. So if you have questions, please. So if you have questions, please signify, and let's take care of that. Anyone? Any question? And also, it's possible you can drop your question on the chat as well. Okay, we have Kikelomo Goodbo. All right, you have the floor. Kindly ask your question.
All right, thank you so much, Sherry. Thank you, Balikis. Thank you so much for the insightful section. I really did stayed glued to my screen and followed through. Thank you very much. So my question is just around the cash receipt payment. So I just wanted to clarify because I know whenever I work from my hand, I most times would have used maybe payments journal. So I just wanted to clarify what are the is there any basic difference, or I don't know, maybe the reason where we can use, as in case studies, where we can use that cash receipt payment journal, sorry, or when we can make use of the payment journal. So that's just my question. I just need a clarification in that area. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Should we take all questions first before I start responding?
Now let's take it one by one.
Okay. So basically there's no restriction as to what journal you can use to process your payments. But I have some people that just decide to use their general journals on the system to process whatever payments, whether it's from customer, vendors, or the rest. But I think in Business Central we just have it designed that way that once you are posting customer receipts or money received from your customer, you should make use of the cash receipt journal. And if you're trying to process payments to vendors, use your payments journal. But like I said, there are no restrictions actually. You can use any. Just make sure you're picking the correct master data. When I mean master data, I'm talking about the customer, vendor, and the rest. Just make sure you're picking the correct master data and you're entering correct figures, right? I hope that helps.
Yeah, all right. Thank you very much for that
You're
clarification.
welcome.
Awesome. Thank you for that wonderful answer. And I think that's a good one. And yeah, I believe that answers the question. I think I saw Adwala's hand raised earlier. Adwala, you want to ask a question?
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, and thank you for the wonderful presentation. It was really insightful. I would like to ask if the software is free, and if yes, how do I go about it? How do I go about maybe because I tried using it while the presentation was on, but the information I got seemed like it's not possible for me to access. Yeah, I tried using the free thing, but I wasn't able to access it. How do I go about it?
I can't say it's not free, and I can't. Though some people have access to it. I think it varies by your region. For those of us in Nigeria, we don't really have direct access to the free version of Business Central online, but you can always get it from consultants that have like a demo environment they use personally. They can just reach out to someone that can give you access to the system. But in other regions like the US, UK, I think they have free trial for a month and it can also be extended.
Okay, thank you so much.
Welcome.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for that wonderful answer as well. Yes, in Nigeria, we do not really have a free one like that. And as she has mentioned, you need to go through a partner or someone who has. So, yeah, we can, for as many that are interested, in getting their hands dirty on the these scenarios and maybe other more, or testing or using the Business Central application for free. So we can actually spin up something for you for as many that are willing. So we have a sandbox environment that we can share credentials with you. So for those that are interested, you can also reach out after this after this session. You can reach out to us via WhatsApp or personally as well. So we are going to create a free account for you to use and practice for by yourself. Thank you. Do we have any other question from anyone? Any other question or concern? We have Oluwafemi Dada, Yusuf Olokode. I'm not sure if I pronounced that well, but I think I tried.
It's Olokode.
Olokode, okay, thank you. Do you have any question? And we have Victor Oko. Do you have any
I have none for
question?
now.
Awesome. Thank you for that confirmation. Victor Oko, any question from you? Oluwatosin Adepoju, any question? Timileyin Oluborode, any question? Awe Joseph, any question? And Oladimeji Samuel. Okay, so I'm going to take that silence as none. For no question. So thank you so much everyone for joining. It's really a wonderful session, and we thank our speaker, our trainer. We thank you so much for we calling you and then you answering us and then preparing such a wonderful slide. And not just this slide, you also went a long way in showing us the demo on a real life environment to see how things are done. So it's not just talk, it's also action. So we really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the time, the effort, and the experience and knowledge that you've shared. We really appreciate you and everyone that has joined. We thank you. So, but before we go quickly,
Thanks for the
we have dropped.
opportunity.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, so before we go today, so there's a link that is dropped on the chat here, which is our WhatsApp group. So for as many that wants to join our WhatsApp group, that's the link. Just click on the link and then it takes you to the WhatsApp group page. So you can join us there. We can engage on that group, ask your questions, make your concerns known, and whatever you can also drop there. And we also drop updates there as well from time to time. So thank you for joining. And also, possibly we will be riding on this foundation that we have built already today by next month's meetup session. We hope that it's going to be a physical one and even more extensive one where we are going to be having a boot camp and then we can go deeper than what we have done today. So don't hesitate to join the WhatsApp group so you can get updates as things unfold, right? So, and anticipate for next month's meetup as well. And also as many that wants to join us in the Ghana trip, that's for the regional conference, DynamicsCon in Ghana. So do well also to reach out to us so we can make plans together. And then finally, so for everyone who is here, we really want to appreciate you for joining, right? And for participating. So subsequently, when we call and make calls like this, please do well to join us as well. And you can also make noise about us on your social media as well, so we can get more members. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We appreciate you. Do have a lovely weekend. Thank you all.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.